guys, welcome back to my channel. I am very excited for this video. I have been trying to make this video happen for months. So basically, you can see by the title, I am doing another blind date with a book. I did one of these, I want to say like a year ago, that I got the Bake Rate book subscription box and then I read the book that was in it, but I had no idea what it was, and you guys seem to really like that video and that whole experience, and I've been trying to find more ways to do this, but it has been difficult to say the least. I have gotten a few different like blind date with the books that bookstores sell. Like I ordered a couple from the Ripped Bodice, which is a romance bookstore in LA. I thought that was like a good bet, you know? And I ended up having read both of the books. So that one didn't work out. Then I've been trying to find other places that have these blind dates with a book. And it's like not an easy thing to find, but I ended up finding one at Half Price Books, actually. My local Half Price Books was doing a blind date with a book promotion when they opened their store back up. I decided to grab one. Hopefully, I really hope that this works out. I hope that I have not read the book and that it is a book that I'm actually interested in, because if I'm not interested in whatever book this is, I'm not gonna do it, because I don't like making videos about books that I'm not interested in just for the sake of content. So I'm really praying that like this is the one that works out. So this is what it looks like. It's just wrapped in this brown paper, and the front of it has a little bit about the book. It says that it is a dark romance about a man more monster than human on a mission for revenge and a woman who longs to be set free. Now, when I read that, I was like, okay, first of all, that sounds like literally every single dark romance I've ever heard about. And two, there's not a single book that I can think of off the top of my head that I've read that could be this, because I don't read a lot of dark romance. So I figured this one might be a safe bet. It also has trigger warnings on it. It says explicit violence, taboo subjects, 18+. A lot of their books that they had trigger warnings written on the thing, which I really liked. I think that was a good idea. Okay, let's open it. I'm so nervous. I really hope this works out, because like I said, I've been trying to do this for so long. Oh, they like really wrapped it up good. You guys ready? Oh, okay. Oh my God, I've heard of this. Wait, have I heard of this? I've heard of this author. It says it's 2 books in one. I think the books are Raise and Reap. Oh my God, 2 books in one. Wow, I just got a deal. Okay, I've heard of this author because I know she wrote a motorcycle romance that I'm really interested in. I don't know if I've heard of this one. Okay, so it says, I'll just like read you a little bit of the back because I have no idea what this is about. Conditioned in captivity to become a dangerous weapon, prisoner 818 is an unstoppable fighter in the ring. Violence is all he knows. After years of incarceration in an underground hell, he has only one thought: get revenge on the man who wronged him. Kaisa is the only daughter of the head of the infamous Red bosses of the New York's Russian Bratva. Her father's savage treatment of his rivals and his lucrative underground gambling ring, the Dungeon, ensures that no one is safe, even as she dreams of a life away from her virtual prison. One evening, Kaisa stumbles upon a tattooed, scarred, but stunningly beautiful homeless man on the streets. Something about him stirs feelings deep within her, familiar yet impossibly forbidden desires. A mysterious, silent man, Kaisa yearns for him, craves his touch. This man they call Raise. Okay, this sounds so good. And then the second book, Reap, looks like it follows another prisoner. I just went to grab my phone so I can look this up on Goodreads. Here we go. Oh wait, I've seen this cover before. It has a different cover than this. This cover's really bad. Here's what the like real cover looks like. All I'm saying, you know, a cover redo can really make all the difference, because this doesn't do much for me. It's really bad graphic design. I'm sorry, I'm like roasting the cover artist. It's not great. Like this is nice. I like this. Let's see more about this book. It was published in 2014, so it's a little old. Okay, interesting. Oh, Jessica from Peace Love Books rated it 5 stars. That's promising. Okay, some of my friends have read it. Seems like a little bit of mixed reviews. I'm seeing 5 stars. I'm seeing a 4 star, a 3 star, a 2 star, a DNF. Okay. I am really excited about this. Oh my god, I'm so glad that this worked out. So I am going home to my parents' house for 4th of July weekend, and I think that I will just take this with me and read this over the weekend and vlog my whole experience. So we're gonna see how I like this book. And I'm really excited. When I saw that they had a dark romance, I was just so excited because I really want to get more into dark romances because I feel like dark romance is kind of like the intersection of my two favorite genres, which is romance and horror. You know, like you'd think that I would read more, but I just don't. Dark romances kind of intimidate me a little bit, but oh my god, I'm excited. I'm like really excited that it's 2 books in one. Like, what are the odds? Okay, so I just read the first couple of chapters, the prologue, and then the first couple of chapters, and so far I'm really enjoying it. So basically the prologue is about the person who I'm guessing is the main male character, and it's when he is a little boy. He is abducted or kidnapped or taken somewhere to this like really gross underground place, and he discovers that it is this like illegal fighting ring where the fighters are fighting to the death, and they tell him he is now fighter 818. That is now his name. He has no name. They are gonna turn him into this like fighting machine killer. And then the next chapter is present day, and it's following the main character who, like it said in the synopsis, is the daughter of the mob boss, and she is engaged to this guy who is the son of another mob boss. They're like the 2 most powerful families, and she's engaged to him, and in the first chapter they are having sex, but it is like really rough sex and not in a good way. He's very like aggressive and demeaning and basically like assaulting her. So that wasn't fun to read. This is one of the things that like I definitely struggle with dark romance, is that sexual assault is like a very difficult subject for me. I mean, it's difficult for everybody, but like I have a very hard time dealing with it. I always like know going into dark romances that that's like probably gonna be something that is like touched upon. I know I gotta like put that aside, because when you go into a dark romance, you just have to have different expectations. So like it's not a huge deal, and obviously like I know he's not the love interest, clearly. So I think that's like one of the reasons why it's fine for me. Like in dark romances, if the abuse isn't coming from the love interest, if it's like somebody else, then I'm able to stomach it a little bit better, because I'm like, okay, these people aren't gonna end up together, clearly. Like, I'm ready for him to die. And so she goes to the church to like work for this charity, like handing out things and food and stuff to the homeless. And while she's there, she goes off on her own into this alley and is attacked by this guy who is trying to mug her. And then this like random hooded stranger saves her and snaps the guy's neck and then runs off. And I'm guessing it is her love interest, clearly. So yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it so far. I really like the writing. I don't really have like a strong feeling about the female main character yet, just because I feel like we're still kind of above the surface with her, of like she's really playing this part of like the demure, submissive mob wife. And that's like a part she really has to play, but she desperately wants freedom and like to escape this life. So I don't really have like strong feelings about her yet, because I don't feel like I really know her yet. But the male character, I love his point of view chapters. He has this one mission to get revenge on the person who like ruined his life and like put him in this like fighting ring, and that person is the main character's fiance. So I'm guessing he's gonna like try to use her to get revenge on her fiance. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to my parents this weekend, so hopefully I can finish this then. I feel like it's always like up in the air when I go to my parents' house. Like either I film and read so much, like more than I do here, or I don't read at all. There's no in between. I totally messed up the continuity of this video because it's still the same day, but I decided to chop off over a foot of my hair. We love impulsive decisions. My hair was over 3 feet long. It was out of control. So I've really been wanting to cut it and I just impulsively decided to do it. But anyways, I read a little bit more of Raise and I'm still really enjoying it, but there's this part that I wanted to show you guys. The main character is talking about how when she was younger, she had a best friend who was another mob boss's son. It was like the 3 families, her family, her fiance's family, and then this other family. And her and the boy of that family, Luca, were really close and like best friends, and they fell in love, but then he was like accused of murdering her brother and then he supposedly died. And there's this part that talks about how like ever since she was able to crawl, she would only crawl to him, and like how they were like made for each other. And she says, Luca had a kind smile and the most beautiful dark brown eyes, but it was Luca's upper left iris smudged with a small splash of blue that made our mothers think we were destined to be. Mama said God placed a piece of my eye within his so we would always know we shared one soul. Like, is that just not the best soulmate level romance? And like clearly, like we all know how this is gonna go. Clearly Raise, or the guy, is gonna be Luca. Like, you know what this book is reminding me of? It's reminding me of I can't believe I'm about to compare these 2 books because they could not be more different, but it's reminding me of The Highwayman by Kerrigan Byrne, which is a historical romance that has a very similar storyline where it's like 2 kids who were like really close and in love as kids, and then the guy supposedly dies and the girl is like mourning him, and then he comes back into her life when she's an adult, but she doesn't know that it's him because she thinks he's dead. And I loved that book so much, so I'm really enjoying this. But I just wanted to share that because it's not a trope that I see often. I think one of the only times I've ever read it, or that I can remember reading it, was in The Highwayman, and I enjoyed it so much. So I'm glad to see that this one has a similar trope. At least I'm assuming. I could be totally wrong. And I, like, after finishing this, I could be like, wow, you were an idiot. But I'm pretty sure, like, I'm pretty sure it's him. All right, so I am just a little bit over halfway now, and I am really enjoying this. I really like the romance aspect of it. They're basically like soulmates, almost like fated to be together. But I'm also loving like just the general plot because Raise is basically training for a fight. He wants to fight Kisa's fiance because he wants to get revenge, and so he's training for this fight because Alex is like the champion fighter and their fights to the death. He's like trying to make it to the last round because the last round will be against Alex, and so like all these fights are to the death and they're so intense. It literally feels like I'm reading an action movie or something, like some sort of really intense fighting movie where they're like in cages fighting to the death. And I also realized that Raise kind of reminds me of, what was that show? It was a CW show. Beauty and the Beast. That was the show. Because in that show, the guy, the like beast character, was, I think he was like a soldier, and then they kind of like experimented on him or injected him with drugs to like make him more beastly. And he had a lot of like memory issues, like he didn't remember who he was, and that is pretty much what Raise is. Like, he was kept in this place called the Gulag, which was like this underground fighting ring where they kept prisoners and had them fight to the death. They injected all of the prisoners with some sort of drug. It's not really explained what the drug is, but he lost all of his memories. He doesn't know who he was. Like, all he knows is death and fighting. And so throughout the book, he's like struggling with that because now that he's met Kaisa, he's like getting all these memories back, but he doesn't really want them. Like, he wants to block out the memories so that he's like one track focused on revenge. And I just like, I'm really enjoying it. It's also very hot, very steamy. And Raise, it's really funny because he's like definitely a killer, you know, like he could mess you up. He's scary. But there's also moments where I'm like, aw, that's cute. Because he like doesn't understand a lot of things because he doesn't have his memories and all he knows is like the prison that he was in. So like Kaisa like tells him, I love you. And he's like, what is love? I don't know what that is. And I'm like, oh, so yeah, I'm gonna try to finish the last half of this and then I will come back and let you guys know my final thoughts. But so far, I'm really liking it. So I finished Raise and I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I really liked this. I definitely think as like when it comes to darker romances, this was like my comfort level. I mentioned earlier that I'm always a little bit wary going into dark romances, and in this book there was a lot of sexual assault between the main character and her fiance. I hated this guy. I've not hated a character this much in a long time. Like, this guy was the scum of the earth. But everything else in the story, like the actual romance and then all of the like fighting and training plot, I really liked. And I liked the writing. I definitely think that Tilly Cole is an author that I want to explore more and read more of her stuff. She wrote a book that I think it's called It Ain't Me, Babe. I'm pretty sure that's the title, and it's about a motorcycle club and then a girl who escapes a cult. And that sounds so good. So I definitely might try to pick that up next. And I do want to read the second book, Reap, because it is about some of the side characters from the first one. And I'm just like really curious more about this whole Russian mob life and these underground prisons. It's definitely fascinating. But yeah, this blind date with a book was definitely a success because I don't know that I would have picked this up otherwise, and I really ended up enjoying it, and I think I found a new author that I really like and I want to read more of her books. So I'm really glad that this finally worked out because I've been trying to do this for a while and it just wasn't working. Oh my god, I just realized there is a playlist of songs in the back of the book. I am definitely gonna have to check out this playlist. Oh, I already know some of the songs. So I hope you guys liked this video. I definitely want to do more blind dates with the book. Like, I want this to be like a whole series, but it's not the easiest one to execute, so I don't know when I will be doing it again. If anyone has any suggestions of more ways I can do a blind date with a book where I'm actually like getting books that I might be interested in or that I definitely haven't read. So I don't know, I had some ideas of like maybe I can ask some of my booktube friends to just like pick a book for me and send it to me or something, or maybe my subscribers. I don't know. Let me know if you guys have any suggestions of ways that I can do this in the future. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!